Lejamarquaveous with nothing but scrambled eggs and a rice patty in his wallet, who should be concerned about how he's going to feed his bastard kid and keep up with child support. He should be focused on getting out of his mama's basement or her extra bedroom in the basement. He should be concerned about that. But what is Lejamarquaveous concerned about? He goes right up to the Mona Lisa just like Bill Gates. And what is he doing? That Mona Lisa is such a great piece of art. Even though I didn't really build anything and I don't have anything to pass on to my bastard kids. I didn't start any company. I never really even tried, and I've just been experiencing hard times for a while. Yeah, I know I don't even have a savings account or a bank account. I don't even need a debit card because there's zero in there. Behind on child support. But this Mona Lisa, wow, this is amazing. This is a fine piece of art. I can't let this fine piece of art escape my eye. I'm glad that I have all this extra time that I should have been using to build a foundation. I'm Birdy Tolar, the only man that consistently, persistently, and insistently talks about Your Friend TV / the slave box and how it cannot and will not bring poor, impoverished people out of their systemic poverty. Tonight, if you will allow me, I'd like to take a trip. I want us to go to America, to the state of Illinois, and I want us to visit a city called Chicago. I want us to go to the west side of Chicago, the dirty, gritty, bummy, dusty, grimy, gloomy, and occasionally, actually quite often, sloppy side of the city, depending on whose point of view you have. This would be the black side of the city. In this occasionally / often sloppy place, I want us to go into a home. In this poverty-stricken home, we find our friend Lejamarquaveous. Yes, I know his name exceeded pentasyllabolic. We find our friend Lejamarquaveous sitting at his desk. Mind you, this is not Lejamarquavious's home. It's his mama's home because he hit a string of bad luck. But in his mama's house, which we're going to refer to as his house simply because that's how Lejamarquaveous also refers to it as. He says, "This is my home." So in this home, in the city of Chicago on the west side, the black side, we find Lejamarquaveous sitting at his desk with a dim desk light on, whilst the moonlight shines through the tattered curtains that he's actually waiting for his mother or stepfather to replace. But at this desk, we see our friend Lejamarquaveous sitting in his old Walmart uniform that he picked up before his string of layoffs. We see him sitting at this desk with Sam Walton's legacy on his back, because he doesn't actually have a legacy of his own to leave behind. But we see him at this desk looking at an intriguing picture of a woman smiling, or maybe it's a smirk. He's not sure. But he must think about it. Lejamarquaveous says to himself, there's no time like the present. He says, this is the time to think about it tonight. The same night that others would actually be calling a work night. But being as Lejamarquaveous is unemployed, disenfranchised, for him, every day is a day off from work. So he stares at this picture of a woman smiling, or, like we said, perhaps it was a smirk. He stares at this intriguing portrait of the Mona Lisa. A beautiful work of art. And he wonders to himself, I bet she thinking about eternal peace. 'Cause it's much simpler than we think. Yeah, that's what she's thinking about, eternal peace. Maybe she found the answer. Suffering is something we just gotta learn to let go. Or no. And maybe she thinking, I know what it is. Maybe she was being painted by the love of her life. Yeah, that's what that smile is for. In the eyes, yeah, I see her eyes. That look in her eyes, that's what that's about. Lejamarquaveous wonders, ponders relentlessly as he glances at the printout of the Mona Lisa. But, brothers and sisters, I want us to leave our friend Lejamarquaveous in his room thinking. And let's get out of this dirty, gritty Chicago before the grit and the dirt gets too close to us. And let's go back to a place where a man has a little dignity. Now, in this land of dignity and intelligence, I'm going to pose a question that I hope some of you can answer. The question is as follows. What does it look like for a poor man, disenfranchised man, a man with nothing to his name, who's built nothing, who has nothing to pass on, who can't leave anything behind, living in his mama's basement? My question is, what does it look like for a poor man like Lejamarquaveous in his mama's house to consider himself an art connoisseur? That's my question. Let me elaborate on this just to make sure we all understand the question. I'm asking, what exactly are we looking at when you see a poor man like Lejamarquaveous from the west side of Chicago, the black side, interested in art? A man with nothing to pass on. A man who's built nothing, created no companies, has no endowments to his name, no foundations that he's started, no organizations to leave behind. I'm asking, what exactly are we looking at when we see this poor, poverty-stricken man like Lejamarquaveous from Chicago interested in art? That's just my first question. My next question is this. Are you ready to befriend Lejamarquaveous because of your common interest in the arts? Because everyone loves to say we're all just people. We're people. Let's just be people. Isn't that the line that I constantly hear? Let's just be people. We're all people, Birdy. We're just people. You're trying to divide us. We're people. So I want to know, are you ready to befriend him? Is this going to be your new best buddy? This broke, dusty, bummy Negro living in his mama's house. Is he going to be your new best friend because of your common interest in the arts? He's interested in the Mona Lisa, and so are you. Is he welcome to your home, just like the usuals that frequent your dwelling? Is he going to be allowed to just Is he going to be allowed to just prance in, red carpet treatment, lay back on your sofa, sip some lemonade? Is LeJarmarquaveous going to be the person you think of because of his appreciation of the arts when it's time to introduce your little sister to a man to marry? Actually, that's my next question. Is LeJarmarquaveous welcomed into your family at all because he likes the arts? We're just people. That's his personal decision. That's what everyone loves to say. Everyone loves to say I'm wrong and that I can't force people to take on my opinion that men should be building, using their times in better ways. Saying that, no, he can just look at art and so what? He can appreciate ballet and the Mona Lisa and movies and DVDs and video games. That's all art. That's his personal choice. So now that you're right and I'm wrong and that this is LeJarmarquaveous' personal choice, who's ready to introduce him to their little sister to marry? Who's ready to welcome him into your family because I'm wrong and he has a personal choice as an individual? Is he welcome into your family? Now I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions. I know a lot of you don't want to hear the answers, but I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions that I just posed to you. See, that question I asked, who's ready to introduce their younger sister to our friend LeJarmarquaveous? Lots of you, because many of you are white supremacists dancing around in white or black faces. For some reason, the white supremacists with black faces love popping up in front of me. More than the whites, always the blacks. They love coming to me, telling me how wrong I am. But I can recognize both of you. When I'm asking who's going to introduce your younger sister to our friend LeJarmarquaveous, to my face, all of you come in line. You say, I would, Birdy, I would. You're wrong. I would do that. I would introduce him. But that's a lie. It's a lie that you haven't thought out. Because my first question is, why haven't you already? And you're like, well, because I didn't meet him. Okay. Even if you didn't, this is a lie that you have not thought out. You say that, yes, you would go and introduce our friend LeJarmarquaveous. You're like, yeah, Birdy, because I'm not like you. You're just wrong. I disagree with how you put it. There's nothing wrong with him. That's his life. Money isn't everything, and I love black people unlike you, Birdy. See, that is what white supremacists and black and white faces come to me and they say. Because they feel guilty about the name that I'm using, LeJarmarquaveous. But has anyone ever thought out this? Has anyone seen this through? Try to prove me wrong. Try to do this. Try to go to your little sister and you say this to her. Try to go play matchmaker just like this. Because she's going to have some questions. You go to her and you're like, hey, sis, like you're still single and you're getting to that age. There's this really nice guy that I wanted to introduce you to. Okay, what does he do? Well, right now times are hard, so currently nothing. Okay, what did he do before? Well, times are also hard then, so not so much then, really, so, but whatever. Okay, so I guess he doesn't seem to work much, so how does he get by? Well, how does he get by? Oh, well, I guess he doesn't. What do you mean? He doesn't get by? Yeah, well, he gets by. Okay, first you said he doesn't get by, now you're saying he does? Well, just explain what you mean. Okay, well, when I say he gets by, what I really mean is he struggles. He's like a slug on the ground. Okay, well, how exactly does he live? Where does he live? Well, he lives with his mama. Okay, but he lives with his mother, so how can he eat? Well, he usually is depending on his stepdaddy to come bring him some food. Okay, and why did you think I would be interested in him? Well, because, I saw you looking at a picture of the Mona Lisa. You like art and movies and the ballet. And Lejamarquaveous, that's his name, he also likes the art and the Mona Lisa and all those things. Okay, so if we get together, how can we eat? Well, he has a lot of intelligence. So, but what are we going to eat? Well, I guess you could eat his intelligence. Oh, I guess it's kind of like his swag. Yeah, it's just like his swag. You can eat his swag and his intelligence. Does he have a lot of soul? Yeah, he's got a lot of soul. You can eat that too. Is he real? Yeah, he's really real. You can eat that also. Okay, well, where are we going to live? You're going to live in his intelligence. Oh, that's a great metaphor, but I mean physically, where will our physical bodies dwell? Well, I mean, metaphorically, you're going to live in his intelligence and swag and greatness and holiness, but physically, you'll probably be in his mother's basement till you bow down low enough and kiss her feet long enough so that she lets you move upstairs directly across from the bathroom. Oh, wow, you're a great older brother. I've always just wanted to thrive in the gutter. See, how many of you have actually thought that out? Everyone wants to say that I'm wrong. You want to tell me that you would be friends with Lejamarquaveous. Then when I ask you, hey, if you would, why aren't you? Why aren't you friends with this guy already? And you're like, but I am. Okay, well, when was the last time he came to your home? Then you're like, well, came to my home. He doesn't really need to come to my home because my friends really don't come to my home. Just some friends do and some friends don't. Okay, well, why is he one of the ones that don't? Well, when I said friends, I guess what I really mean is we're more like associates. Okay, so he hasn't been to your home. Does he know where you live? Well, no, because, we just never really talked about that. Okay, well, does he know how you live? Well, no, also because my friend, we never really talked about that. Okay, do you know how he lives? Not really, because we never really talked about that. Okay, but you're friends. Yeah, because I would be friends with Lejamarquaveous. I'm not racist. I love the rainbow. I love anybody, everybody. See, many of you are going to lie to yourselves and say, yes, you're going to introduce Lejamarquaveous to your sister. And you tell that lie because the economic maldistribution of wealth. You just know that in Chicago, there are a lot of broke, dusty Lejamarquaveous Negroes out there. And we've been taught that we should just say, I love the rainbow. So it's a bit embarrassing to say that you wouldn't introduce Lejamarquaveous to your sister. Because then we're all worried to say, oh, is it because he's black? Is it because his name? Is it because his pants sag? Is it because his hat's on backwards? Is it because his skin color? And then you just have to say, no, well, it's not because of his name. It's not because his skin color. It's not because he sags his pants. It's not because of the dialect he speaks. You're just worried about those questions. And then someone's going to say, well, why? And the truth is, it's because he's poor. He's poor. When was the last time you tried to play matchmaker with a bum? LeJarmarquaveous is not getting propositioned to marry into this family and that family, not because of his multisyllabic name or color. It's because he is poor. So let me go back to my original question that I posed. What does it look like for a poor man to be an art lover? Does it look like something that a man who desires dignity will do? Or does it look like the contrary? See, I've got nothing against the Mona Lisa, but let's get one thing straight. There's a big difference between Bill Gates looking at the Mona Lisa and Lejamarquaveous looking at the Mona Lisa. See, when Bill Gates walks up to the Mona Lisa, this is what happens. Bill Gates, he looks at that portrait and he stares. Bill Gates walks up to the Mona Lisa and he stares. I wonder what her smile represents. Now that I've built my billions and my company and my organization is set and I have power, wealth, and influence to pass on, I wonder what her smile represents. Now that my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are so secure, I wonder what that smile represents. Now I have a moment to think about it, because I've worked so hard for the previous 2 decades, building, creating. I'd like to take a moment off and just relax and try to figure out what that smile represents. I didn't use the past 2 decades for art, but I think I'd like to look at some art right now. Meanwhile, Lejamarquaveous, with nothing but scrambled eggs and a rice patty in his wallet, who should be concerned about how he's going to feed his bastard kid and keep up with child support. He should be focused on getting out of his mama's basement or her extra bedroom in the basement. He should be concerned about that, but what is Lejamarquaveous concerned about? He goes right up to the Mona Lisa just like Bill Gates. And what is he doing? That Mona Lisa is such a great piece of art. Even though I didn't really build anything and I don't have anything to pass on to my bastard kids. I didn't start any company. I never really even tried, and I've just been experiencing hard times for a while. Yeah, I know I don't even have a savings account or a bank account. I don't even need a debit card because there's zero in there. Behind on child support. But this Mona Lisa, wow, this is amazing. This is a fine piece of art. I can't let this fine piece of art escape my eye. I'm glad that I have all this extra time that I should have been using to build a foundation for my offspring, so that when I leave this world, I can pass it on. I'm glad that I'm able to use this time. Instead of building that foundation, I'm glad I could use this time to just look at this great piece of art, because this is a classic. I feel just like Bill Gates, even though I haven't actually built anything like he did. You see, it's hard to take perpetually poor people serious, because practically every word that comes out their mouth is a joke. They always say stuff like, well, I've got time this weekend. I got time to see that new Will Smith movie. These are the jokes that poor people tell. You see, LeJarmarquaveous should be concerned with the fact that he comes from a family of 6 and the other 5 siblings haven't built anything. He should be concerned with the fact that out of his 14 uncles, their ability to build is worse than a black woman's fathering skills. You know what I mean. I don't need no man. I can't be held back by you. I don't need this. You keep talking and I can just leave. I'll get divorced. I can do fine by myself. Lejamarquaveous should be concerned with that. His ability to build is worse than a black woman's fathering skills. He should be concerned with the fact that out of all his uncles, not one of them can say to him, can look him in the eye and say, hey, Lejamarquaveous, look at what I built. Do like me. Come work for me. They can't even say, come work for me. Not even do like me or look at what I built. They can't even say, come work for me. I'm not going to pay you $60,000 a year. I can only pay you 20, but come work for me. His uncles cannot say that to him. And he doesn't understand this is a problem. Of course, all of his uncles keep talking that bull jive. Just like Lejamarquaveous. They keep telling him, you need to show some respect to a man, as he lives in his mother's house. Need to show some respect to your elders, as he has nothing to show that is deserving of respect. He can't even, most of the uncles, they can't even show any failures because they can't show you where they tried anything. They cannot show you their failures because they cannot show what they actually tried. They can show you a DVD collection. That's about all. They can show you all the movies and TVs that they tried to watch and some purchases that they made. But as far as what they actually tried to build, they cannot even show you where they failed because they never even attempted it. See, that is the Lejamarquaveous issue. But what does Lejamarquaveous do? Instead of recognizing his predicament, instead of understanding that him and Bill Gates are not the same, he sees Bill Gates as massa. So he sees Bill Gates looking at art, admiring the Mona Lisa. He sees Bill Gates thinking, I wonder what she's thinking. And because blacks don't understand what white supremacy is, they see virtually everything important upside down or backwards. So Lejamarquaveous doesn't really believe that he has the potential to be Bill Gates's garbage man's equal. Let me repeat that. Lejamarquaveous doesn't really believe that he even has the potential to be Bill Gates's garbage man's equal. He doesn't believe that he can build just like Bill Gates did. He doesn't see himself with power. He doesn't think he has it in him. So he says, maybe I can just skip that step. It's not really important. Maybe I can just jump over that. I don't think I can be just like Bill Gates. build something like he did. I'm more like a scavenger. I just come after everything's been built and see what I can get at the end. I'm a hustler. He doesn't really see himself as Bill Gates' equal. So what he does, he says, you know what? I'll just skip that step. Right now, I see Bill Gates admiring the Mona Lisa and some art and watching a movie and commenting on some sports game or some entertainment. So why don't I skip all the prerequisites and just go to the fun part? Rather than try to build, create, start, organize, grow anything, why don't I just skip all of that and just go watch a movie? Just like George Bush did. Why don't I try to just go horse riding in my free time? Why don't I try to get a vacation, a resort down to Haiti? Just like some other man that built something did. I don't really need to pass anything on or to grow anything. Why don't I just skip those steps? And I'll just try to go enjoy myself just like I see them doing. Except there's one major difference, brothers and sisters. There's one major difference, brothers and sisters. Can anyone tell me what's the major difference between the footage of George Bush petting his horses, playing with them, and Lejamarquaveous playing with his horses and petting them? Yeah, we skipped a step there, didn't we? Lejamarquaveous, for some reason, actually the reason is white supremacy, but he can't understand that. So he says to himself every day, he says, why don't I just go out and do what comes next? Since I can't build like they did, whatever, I'll just do what I can do. I can enjoy. Can't enjoy the fruits of my labor. Because the big problem is there isn't any labor that took place. See, it's true that blacks built America. But right now we're riding the backs of our ancestors. They put in all the work. We're simply suffering from the side effects of Jim Crowism. But it was our ancestors that put in all the work. The average black American male right now has not lifted a finger. He's more concerned with some sneakers and how he can get in some wig-wearing woman's drawers. The blacks you look at in 2014 are claiming credit for the work that our ancestors did. And that's true that we should, don't get me wrong, it's true that we should be enjoying the fruits of the labor. But the reality is that we are not. I know that the white man enjoys the fruit of his great-grandfather. I know that the Asian man enjoys the fruit of his great-grandfather. But the black man in America doesn't. And that is the reality. And it's not going to be given to you. It's not going to be given to you. If it were going to be given, it would have already been given. It will never be given to you. But right now, the black man in America is weak and effete and asleep. So rather than put in the work again or rebuild it again, the black man wants to tell you about how much we did when he didn't do anything. He can't tell you about the work he did as an individual. He can't tell you about the work he did with his family or with his friends, but he can tell you about the great works that we did in the past. And that's true. They were done in the past by our ancestors, but why can he not mention what he has done, brothers and sisters? See, right after he explains how great we were in the past, he's going to go ask his baby mama for some of the child support money back so he can have enough gas money to treat his new girlfriend to the Mona Lisa exhibit. And then they're going to go talk about the Mona Lisa. What's even worse is that Lejamarquaveous is a male's name, which means that I'm not talking about a woman. I'm talking about what should be a man. I'm talking about what should be a man, yet he's preoccupied with art. He's looking at the Mona Lisa and Kanye West's new shoe. He's looking at some sports and the new iPhone. The case of it is going to be blue or white. He's preoccupied with that. I'm talking about a man. This is not a child. What's worse, this is not a man with wealth. I'm talking about an impoverished man, a man with no savings, no property in his name. Not even enough savings to cover the next 2 decades of the property if he actually owns any. I'm talking about a man with no assets, a man that couldn't even fathom wealth. Talking about a man with nothing to pass on with his children if he died tomorrow. He is preoccupied with art. He's like, look at this painting or look at this movie. It's funny. You gotta watch season 3 of this. It's funny. I'm talking about a man with nothing to pass on. He's telling you that something is funny. An impoverished man is telling you that something is funny. A poor man, he's like, look at this art. This is season 3 of The Walking Dead. You've got to see it. An impoverished man is telling you this. He hasn't built anything. He's like, you got to see Breaking Bad. It's better than the Mona Lisa. This is art. Just so we're clear, I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about children. I'm not talking about women. And also, let's get one thing straight. I'm not talking about a man with a rich heart. I don't want to comment on a man with a rich heart, the biggest heart in the world. I'm not talking about someone who's extremely kind and the cosmos in his eyes. That's great. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I want both. I want the cosmos in your eyes and something to pass on. Because let's be clear. When you start talking too much about the cosmos in someone's eyes, those are the words of the weak. We don't describe Bill Gates as someone with the cosmos in his eyes. He's not known for that. He's not known for a billion smiles. He's known for being a billionaire. Maybe he has 1 billion smiles. That's true. Plus 1 billion upon billion upon billion dollars. Malcolm X isn't known for his great spirit. Maybe he had that, but he was known for his great spirit plus the ability to organize a battalion behind him. That's what he's remembered for. That's what he's known for. That's what he's revered for. Dr. Claude Anderson doesn't just have love in his heart. What he's known for is his exercise of power, wealth, and influence to show his love. So let me go back to my original question. What does it look like for a poor, impoverished, broke, dusty Negro? Can't protect his kids, his offspring, his nephews from getting gunned down week after week after week. Children are subjected to the worst education in America. Just going through the prison to pipeline system. Constantly oppressed. What does it look like for him, a man with crumbs of pennies, not even complete pennies, someone with crumbs of the pennies, not wealth, not even money, but crumbs of the change? What does it look like for him to be obsessed with even the greatest piece of art?